Okay, family, we're going to reconvene and bring up our next presenter. This is Brother Tarhaka, Amaana El Bay. He comes from Jacksonville, Florida, and Brother Tarhaka has been on the scene for quite a while, and many of you have tapped in and logged into many of his blog talk shows and a lot of the information that he presents. It's definitely all about 100% unequivocally about the liberation of our people, and we want to, allow Brother Tarhaka to really feed us a lot of the wonderful information that he's come across. And every time this brother comes across some new information, it's not even a day before he's putting it out and making sure that we get access and get hold to it. So if you all please give your undivided attention to Brother Tarhaka, he's going to educate you all on some financial literacy.
All right. Before we get started, I got a question. If it's anybody in here now that's opposed to making money, will you raise your hand? Okay, making progress. The first thing I want to talk about is how is it that rich people is rich and they continue to be rich no matter what. They're rich, they just stay rich. They just keep getting richer and richer and richer. What are they doing that we are not doing? So what we'll do is let's take a look at what they be doing first, okay? And then we'll get into how we can do some of these things too. First thing we're gonna do is gonna show you right quick what they be doing. This is exactly what goes on right here. We got income. We got expenses. We got assets. And we got liability. Now what the rich do is they have systems whereby they can create money out of thin air. For instance, what we would do on an average is we'd go to a bank and we'll, over a period of time, we'll deposit about $10,000 in the bank. Okay, we find something that we want to invest in, we'll go to the bank and we'll get our $10,000 and we'll make the investment. But the rich don't do that. What they'll do is they'll take $10,000 they'll deposit it in that bank, but never will they ever go back to that bank and take them $10,000 and use the $10,000. What they're going to do is they're going to go to the bank and say, look, I got $10,000 in this bank. I need you to give me a $10,000 loan. I'm going to use my $10,000 as collateral. And what they're going to do is they're going to take that money, put it down in the asset section, and make those $10,000 go to work for them. But the difference between them and us is they're going to take a filter and put in between their income and their assets, and they're going to create a corporation. They're going to set up a trust. And what they're going to do is they're going to bleed off expenses. They're going to spend as much as they can. They're going to invest as much as they can, or tap that money in investments. And then what happens is they're taxed after they've had a good time. And that's the difference between them and us. We'll get our income, it'll come in. First thing we'll do, we'll take a look at the bills. We got to pay the rent, lights, water, and all that. But what has happened to us, especially if we're employed, is the government has already set it up where they have paid themselves first, even though we put in the energy, and then we're trying to make it down here to the asset section with savings, but we never make it. Because we was taxed before, where the rich was taxed after. Because they was able to set up a barrier between their income and their assets. And that's one of the biggest secrets of the rich right there. That's a gigantic hole right there. They never use their own money, they use leverage, and they control between income and assets through a corporation. That corporation is held in the trust. They don't ever want to own anything. They always want to control everything through that corporation that's held by that trust. And they're taxed on what's left. You might see game shows on TV. Let's Make a Deal. What's Jeopardy? What's the one that Steve Harvey do?
Family Feud.
Okay. Well, you ever wonder where are they getting all of this money and all these cars and all this furniture and stuff to give to these people? Well, what these people are doing is they are donating the cash. They are investing in the cars and giving them cars away, and they're writing these things off because they are taxed after the fact. And we are taxed before the fact. Okay? So let's take a look at what goes on with us. One problem that we're having is we got to learn the difference between an asset and a liability. How many in here believe that your home is one of your biggest assets? Raise your hand. Now wait a minute now. You got a brand new Cadillac. That's got to be an asset, right?
That's a liability.
That's a liability. Now why is that a liability?
Because you're going to keep paying.
You mean to tell me I can't go to the gas station and tell the attendant that owns the gas station that he needs to give me some money so I can buy some gas to put in? I can't do that? Well, I had to put that down there as a liability.
That's right.
Now, if you go to the bank and you ask the bank, is my house a liability? The bank can tell you yes.
No,
they're not lying. It is. But we need to know, if they tell me my house is an asset, my next question should be, whose asset is it?
Right.
Now, if I'm paying the mortgage and I know that all assets puts money in my pocket, all liability takes money out of my pocket. So that means they'll have to have my mortgage listed in their asset column. Right? So they didn't lie to me. I just didn't ask the rest of the question. Okay, so what goes on with us if we go to work? Yeah.
I got a question. What does liability mean?
A liability?
Yes.
A debt. A liability is something that's not producing any income. If you got an automobile, you got to put tires on it, you got to put oil in it, you got to put gas on it, you certainly have to put armor on it.
Insurance,
tag, insurance, driver license, everything associated with that, that's money coming out of the pocket. In other words, let's look at it like this right here. If I don't go to work, will my assets feed me, or will my liabilities eat me? So we got income coming in. We're going to say that we got $100. Okay. That's all we made this week. Right? $100 bucks. But what we're going to have to start doing, if we haven't already started doing this, is the first person or the first thing that goes in the asset section on your paper is your name. Because you're your biggest income producing asset. And out of every $100 or every dollar that you get, we're going to pay ourselves 10%. $10 in the asset section. Now, if we ain't made it to the bank, we'll get an envelope, take them $10, stick inside that envelope, write the word asset on that envelope. Every time you get paid, the first thing that's going to get paid from the income is to the assets. You'll pay yourself first. You got to pay yourself. Don't even look at the light bill. Don't look at the rent. Don't look at the mortgage. Don't look at nothing. As soon as you get that paycheck, you bring it home, because right here, when you walk in the house with that paycheck, we're dealing with a choice. You're going to make a choice. When you get paid on Friday, you're making a choice to become rich or poor. And it's based on this basic system here. This is the basic financial sheet right here. Your income, your expenses, your assets, and your liabilities. Now, we don't have to worry about the liabilities, because we got income coming in. We got $100 coming in. We paid ourselves $10 out of every 100. So if you got $500, that's how much money got to go in the asset section?
$50.
$50. So you got $50. So now, as we accumulate this money, we get up to about what we say, $200, $300, $400, $500. We're going to take this asset and we're going to put it in the bank in the biggest income producing interest acquiring situation that we can put it in until we come to the conclusion of whatever else we're going to put this money in, because this got to be working. If you got a pocket with a wad of money in it, in your pocket, then you're in trouble. Because this money got to be working. Because you paid yourself, if you paid yourself with this money, you got to put that money to work. It's never meant to be stagnated. Okay? Now, once we start doing this and we develop the habit of going from income to asset. Now we already, if you're working on the job, you've already been taxed. Because understand, I made it against the law for you to pay yourself first by taxing you Social Security, income tax, and all this stuff. Okay, so we got to turn this thing around and start taking advantage of every bit of money that we have, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. If you work on John's car, John give you a $20 bill, pay yourself out that $20 bill. If you put paint Margaret's house down the street and she give you $250, pay yourself. That's the habit you're developing. Take that envelope, put that money in it. When you get to the bank, ask the bank people, what is the biggest, what account can I open to yield the highest amount of interest? We don't want no savings account. What you say?
Money market account.
Money market account. Let's open up the money market account. Now the money market account is going to be fine until we get to a bigger income producing situation. But we always want to keep the money working. We never want to get in a position where we're going to start taking this asset money and start spending it, because we're in trouble. Now, whenever you spend some money, what do you think you're going to spend that money out of? If you got to spend some money, what do you think you're going to take the money from to spend? And then out of that 10, I'm going to narrow that down to 3. And out of that 3, I'm going to pick 1, which make a much sound investment every single time. I'm not going to let anybody come to me and say, well, look, I got some houses I need you to look at. It's 3 of them. Okay, well, I'm putting them 3 down on the list because I got to go through 100, narrow it down to 10, down to 3, and out of those 3, I'm going to select 1 to invest in, because the one I invest in is going to be the one that's what? It's going to generate income, because I'm going to use this asset capital to invest in that property. Okay? All right. Now, there's another system whereby we get paid. The money comes in here. And what we try to do is we try to handle the expenses. But we never make it to the asset section. The rich come in here and go straight to the asset section. The reason why, most of our lives we've been taught to go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. So we got work here, small business here, big business here, and investments here. The rich concentrates on investments. If you got a job, you got to be an employee / investor. If you own a small business of any kind, you got to be a small business owner plus investor. Because if you just have a job, you're not going to make it. And the reason why we're not going to make it is because we don't have any money. All we have is debt. Now, if you take a $1 bill and you look across the top, it'll clearly tell you, it's got it up here too, Federal Reserve note. Look up the definition of note, and we found out what that is, and that's a promise made between the person that created this and the guy that signed it. That's a promise between them two. So But what we're doing is we're using this debt in order to try to survive. So what we got to do, we got to get rid of the debt. So we're going to take debt and transform it into money. And when we do that by going from income to assets. And from asset to investment. That's how we do that. Okay? Anybody got any questions so far? What we're doing is we're taking money and making money work for us. We're learning how to stop working for money and learn how to make money work for you in every situation. If a little old lady tell you, look, I need you to help carry my groceries home for me, I'm going to give you $5. Yes, ma'am, I'll carry groceries for you. Here's a $5 bill. What's the first thing you got to do?
Take 50 cents.
You got to pay yourself. What we're doing now is we're developing the habit of doing this. So don't run in the house trying to put stuff down till I can't find the light bill. Oh, look for that envelope with that money in it first. Find out what that. Put that money in there, then put it back. Okay, now we can look at the light bill. Because if you do that long enough, you'll find out, oh my God, I got a big stack of stuff. I got to do something with it. Of course, go to the bank and get the what? Money market account. Right? Because we got to keep the money working. The money can't be sitting there accumulating no dust. Because it ain't doing that. Not if you're supposed to be employed. When you go to work for your employee, he's interested in you working. He wants to know that you're working. He don't want to see you just sitting there standing there doing that. Because he's invested in you, he wants you working. So you got to make the money do the same thing. Yeah.
The money market account? What kind of account is that? How is that?
You want to explain that to him, bro?
Is it kind of like a CD or something?
There's different instruments in money market. And depending on the instrument, that's how much interest you can earn on that. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now you got, when you get ready to go to the bank, or when you go to the bank, tell them that you need to speak to the bank president, somebody, to find out what the bank has to offer you, what type of accounts that they have, and what's the biggest, what account accumulates the most interest, because we're putting the money to work. See, we're stopping our biggest income producing asset from working. We're going to start making this stuff work for us. You see?
I was going to give them like an example, like a CD, certificate of deposit. That's when like you lend like the money that he said is your asset. You put that in there, and like banks will borrow that from you for a certain period of time till maturity, and you'll earn a little bit of money off of that. But you have to keep it in there to earn that.
Right, can't touch it.
You can't touch it.
Okay.
All right. Now, once you accumulate this money inside your asset section, the money is working, everything's going good. Now we have to start looking for investments. Part of time of your day should be spent on looking over where can I put this money to work next? What can I do next? You might want to look at real estate. You might want to look at urban geoponics or gardening and farming and stuff like that, that you can get a return on investment. See, the rich look on rate of return on investment. That's what we look at. We got one guy, his name is, he was a taxi cab driver up in New York City. His name is Wade Cook. And he got into the real estate business. And what he was doing is he had these people looking for these houses. That was the only thing they're supposed to do. Find these houses, let me know about these houses, and tell me how much money I can make off of these houses by Friday. But a lot of these guys would call me and say, man, I found this beautiful house, man. I mean, this thing is what? Man, on these acres of land and all that. He said, you might want to live in this house. He said, man, I don't want to live in nothing. I'm fine where I am. Tell me how much money can I get for this house by Friday. Because the only thing that he was interested in is making sure that asset capital was working. That's all. Now, if you got a rental property, and there's someone living in that rental property, and you're receiving income from that rental property, then that rental property should be listed in the asset section. If somebody moves out of that property, then you got to hurry up and get somebody else in there. Otherwise, you're going to have to put it where? In the liability section. Every dollar that you spend in expenses and stuff, get the receipts from it and write that amount in the expense section. And at the end of the month, you're able to look at your incomes, you're able to look at your expenses, you're able to look at your assets, and you still have your liabilities right there. So now if you got a big pile of receipts and amounts of money that you've written into the expense section, you know you got to do something. Because this thing is getting out of control. So you're going to have to tighten up your belt and you have to reduce the amount of money that's going into the expense section. That's where we master the art of learning the difference between our needs and our wants. We got a lot of people that have a hard time with that. You want to, because see what we're doing here is we are developing a habit. And this is what rich people do. They develop the habit of managing their wealth. And then they're writing, they're actually creating money out of thin air. We'll say if you get a property, we're going to pay $100,000 for it. We got 400 acres of land on this square right here. And we got a house right here on the corner. It's on the corner lot. Okay? So that's a $45,000 home. Because we're going to sell that there for 45 grand. And we only invested $100,000 in the whole thing. But we're going to break this thing up in 4 parts of $100,000 apiece. We invested $100,000, so what we did was created $345,000 out of thin air. That's what the rich do. And we did not use our $100,000 that we had in the bank. We went to the bank and got a loan of $100,000 using our $100,000 as collateral. And we're paying the bank back a little bit at the time, and we want to keep it like that until tax season gets here. Why? Because we got $300,000 and $100,000 tied up with banks on payment. So we can't get taxed until what? After the fact. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you brought up taxes. One, is it true that doing your taxes is actually a setback? And number 2 is, for those of us who have who are on a corporate plantation, along with your W-2, does the 1099 help you like boost your revenue as far as like what taxes you would pay out?
No, you don't get no boost up in there. What you got? That's why I'm showing you this right here. See, what you can do with your employer, you can actually set up your estate and cancel the taxation over there. But we want to go beyond that. We want to get into a position where we simply set up a corporation, and all purchases that we make, like regular stuff that we make, is not purchased by us, it's purchased by the corporation.
Right, okay.
And it just so happens that the corporation is held by a trust. So now that we got that structure set up, we can do all kind of stuff now. We can invest, we can spend as much money as we want, we can take money and give it to charity, and we can give money. I can give money to these guys' organization, give money to Urban Geoponics, and write it off, and then give the government the receipts. Well,
Money is still not working for you properly?
yeah. But this is why we're creating the system. We want to make our money outperform inflation.
But in a bank, it's not going to outperform inflation, from my experience.
That's just a holding tank.
3%.
That's just a holding. See, if I fill this glass up with water, let it sit in there, and it just be sitting there. But if I drink the water, that's when it starts doing the most good. But we're gonna have somewhere to put the water, so we put it sitting there for a minute a week. That's what I'm talking about. It's just holding tank. We're not. See, we're putting it in a leverage situation. You can do the same thing if you got, let's say we invested in 10 or 15 lots prior to them putting houses on. So we had our money tied up. it's going different places. We can take some of that money, market crash, no problem. None of it didn't get on me. Because the system I got, you know, he could be investing in the stock market. We got other investments other places. So he lose $100,000 over there. No problem. It wasn't none of his money anyway. He got a loan, got from somebody else. And he's using other income investment assets that's producing income that can pay for that. See, you're not owning anything. You're controlling everything, and you are moving toward freedom.
You teaching.
That's what it's all about. Freedom. We got to break free from the money trap. We got to control the income. We got to control the expenses. We got to learn the difference between assets and liabilities. And we got to take these little institutions there and make them work for us if we're going to use these institutions. But we got to keep the cash flow going. Yeah.
Do you have any information on the security of foreign banks? Because I know I heard something about Morocco is paying upwards of 12% on their deposits.
Well, I don't have any personal information on foreign banks, but what we're concentrating on here lately, since we've been doing this, is we're looking at other nations' currency. Because we got a lot of one of the hottest investments today is investing in money.
Volatile too.
And making money earn money. That's the name of the game. Take the money and make that money make money. But the number one thing to always remember is you get out of the work. Put that money to work. Make that money work for you. Don't work for money. Because every dollar you get, if I give you a $1 bill, you got to go to the store and get change. Because you got to pay yourself a quarter. We just want to develop the habit. That's all. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
What Tarhaka is talking about, to elaborate on what he's demonstrating. For example, if you automate paying yourself first, that's something you alleviate from doing. And if you do a 401k that's pre-taxed, that's your 10% automatically going to your 401k account. That's part of that tax later thing, and it's yielding you money. You can go to a bank. Instead of keeping it in a regular savings account, you put it in a money market account that'll give you more return versus, 10% or not even 10% or 10 cents every 6 months based off of, $600 that you have. Also, it's performing for you versus just sitting in your savings account. So you got to be able to take the little bit amount of money that you do have and make it work for you versus just keeping the same routine and ending up with zero at the end of the month. You got to play by the numbers. If you're not structured, it's a science. If you play by the numbers, if you know what your debt ratio is and you know what you're making, then you know what you have left over. That's your wealth. After you paid your bills, after you paid yourself first, paid your bills, and you have a savings and something invested, that means that you're going to have something later on down the line versus what you're just getting from a job or your company. You can also, if you want to do something independently of a bank with the savings, you look at money market, you just simply Google money market accounts. ING, Edward Jones, you can look at those places as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Real quick, just so I can understand this clearly, that example that you gave with the 4 banks, right?
Yeah.
Was that, you only use $400 to do that, or was it $1,600 that you used to do that?
This for we just want to, because I'm trying to make this palatable and digestible for everybody. We got a bank. The only thing we're going to do is just make deposits until we reach $400. All right. After we get $400 in there, now we're ready to get a loan. Take it over there, put it in there, just like you said, put it in an interest-bearing account until we get enough money to put it to work. Anywhere that money's sitting, we want to work it. No matter where it's at, it's got to be working. Yes, ma'am.
Does it matter, or is it really significant that you make deposits until you reach it? What if you just put $400 in it? Does it?
No, we want to.
You have to.
Yeah, we want to build. We want to show these people that we are Deposit. That we're making an effort. We don't want to just take $400, just put it in there, come back tomorrow.
So
Yeah, I need $400. No. If I was the bank president, I'm gonna say, well, you got the $400 for?
Money trail.
Yeah, I need it. That's right. We need to see you being done something. Okay, let's take a look. We're gonna recap one more time now. Let's make sure we got this right. Okay, we get paid. Job. Our income come in here, expenses here, asset here, liabilities here. What happens with us is when we get paid, we're going to thinking about all the things that we're going to have to pay. Everybody who had to get paid and all the things we got to buy groceries. I got to stop over here and put some gas in the car. I got to do this, I got to do that. I promised so-and-so and then we're going to help them with the birthday party. All these things right here. And what happens is we come through here, we get tangled up down in right here, and we make it down here, and our income goes where? Out the expense section. That's what happens. And we never get a chance to pay ourselves. That's the hang-up. When you get paid and come here, it is at this point we do what? We have a choice. That's the breaking point right there. Every single paycheck you get, every $20 bill you get, every $100 you make from somewhere, it's the breaking point right here. This is when you decide to become rich or poor. Pay yourself first. You're well on your way. Every time. Just develop the habit. Don't forget to pay yourself first. That's the key. And then we're going to start concentrating on going from income to assets and from assets to investments. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the commerce game. That's how to beat the game. You're going from income to investments. Income, assets, investments. Your name should be the first thing in that asset section because you are your biggest income producing asset. And if your asset don't go to work, you don't get paid, right? Okay. All right. This concludes my, unless anybody else got any questions.
One more. How long did you think how long would that take to do that whole process?
Which one? You talking about the
When you get to the 400.
Well, it depends on you. You can make it as realistic if you want. You can do it every 2 weeks. You can make a deposit every week. You can make payments on that loan once a month. While that 400 sit over there in bank number 2 until you pay that $400. You can tell them I want to pay $75 a month on that.
And you don't think that even though you have collateral, you don't think the bank is gonna, look at you and say, I don't want to loan you the money, even though you built it up like you did. So is it like
you're not using their money, you're using your own. You got $400.
Yeah, that's right. That's the collateral. Okay, I see.
And that's 4 separate banks, right?
I see.
Yeah.
You're using 4 separate banks.
Yeah, 4 separate banks.
Yeah, that's a secured loan. I keep forgetting about that word.
Yeah.
Diallo.
Yeah.
And that's an excellent approach to building credit. People like to think the only thing you need to do is get fiat in your pocket. Credit is a valuable tool in today's society. That'll give you a relationship with 4 different institutions. So in the future, banks have their own credit report agencies. So you'll have good relationships with those 4 different institutions as well. So when you get ready to do anything, just like Tarhaka said, you'll be in a better financial standing in those banks' eyes. So it'll put you in a better position.
Now another reason why we're doing this is because later on, we're going for the big kahuna. We're going to walk in the bank and say, hey, here's me. I need you to break me off 200 grand, man. Give me $200,000. You already know you're going to you're going to invest in something that's going to yield a return on that investment, and you're going to make your small payments back to the bank, and you're well on your way, and you should never be broke again. Because you have a system, real simple, that you're using, and you have developed the habit to be rich because you're constantly making a choice every time you get some money. You're making a choice. You're choosing. See, poor people, in a lot of cases, and broke people, they choose to be broke. Child, it's Kathy's them birthday. I told her I'm gonna make the cake.
What kind of cake?
I got it. It's because you know it's her birthday. You know I got it. And Willie and them finna join the little league, and they want me to be a sponsor. Did you ask Willie what's the return on investment? we got to bring this thing into control and start dealing with it, because once we start doing this, then we will find out that we got more money left at the end of the month than the other way around. See, like in a lot of cases we got, and when the end of the month comes, we got a whole lot of money, but we ain't got that much money. But by exercising this kind of control, then you discover that you always got cash flow. Something happens, boom, you can handle it, always. I was explaining this to a friend of mine, and they were looking at it and saying, you know, it really looks good. How do I know it'll work? I went in the room and come back with an envelope like right there and had asset rolls on it. I said, open up, peek in it. I said, don't touch nothing, but peek in it. She opened up, peek in it. I said, get it back. Come back, I put it back up. I come back, I said, what you think now? What, do I have to sign something? I said, no. How do I get started? Yeah. And then you take the cash until you get to the bank, put it in the bank, put it to work. Just make sure that it's working. Stop working for money, make money work for you. Anybody got another question about this?
I do. I have a question.
What?
My question is, when doing the deposits to all the 4 banks, your interest that you will be paying is going to be less than money that your money is making in the money market account. Is that correct?
Well,
I was just asking about the interest versus the money market payment that you'll be yielding.
Could you let the people know how to order the DVDs? You have some.
You go DVDs right here on tape.
Right, I know that, but people watching live on stream, they're asking how to order.
Hey!
Yeah.
Just contact me, Tarhaka Amaana LB at area code 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know y'all heard that 1,000 times, but I said it live today.
One more time, you went too fast.
904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we got it. Yes, sir.
Is it feasible on a smaller scale to do it for all 4 banks at the same time?
Nah.
No?
Nah. One at a time. Because what we're doing is we're building credibility step by step. Because we're going to come back in the future and we ask these people for $500,000. So therefore, we want to be squeaky clean. We want to be the Pope's nephew.
Not.
You know, you want to, yeah. So what we're doing is we're showing a credible standing in the beginning, and we have money in the bank. We got some collateral, and we are putting our money to work. And if we get a substantial amount of money, if you get $20,000 or $25,000 accumulated, that's a $25,000 loan right there. Using your $25,000 as collateral. Don't ever use your money. Use their money. If you got $500,000 in the bank, you go to the bank, I need a loan of $500,000. You understand? Always. It's called leverage. Don't never use your stuff. Always use their stuff, because you got a thing called taxes. You want to use their money, and you want to make them monthly payments. We ain't paid nothing off. We still paying on it. So that's after tax. Any more questions before I stop?
Right here. It's the last one.
Okay.
And I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, I believe that this system is going to crumble at some point, this economic system, the way that money is flowing.
Yeah.
Are you ever concerned about that, or what happens to our money at that point? And
what money? You ain't got none. What I told you?
Money don't exist.
This is y'all.
Okay.
We're trying to get at it. ain't getting out of here. Because see, if you don't do something to get out of it, then you're going to be in trouble. But we want to get in a position where we can have a because if right now Brother Diallo had $100,000, how big do you think that farm will be? He have a fleet of tractors. So the dollar could crash all this water. We go to his house and eat, right? we got to use what we got. You know, just take this fiat, turn it around.
Comment, and this is related to her.
Yeah.
As long as you have a way to continually bring in the cash flow, so to speak, you can always put that in hard assets such as gold and other currencies. It's just going to continue to come in. So once you keep the system established first, then you'll be able to put it in cryptocurrencies, gold, silver, other things, you know what I mean, to generate. Hard.
Right. Gotcha.
The main thing that we have to be concerned about and never forget, food, air, and water. That's the real currency. But we are playing with this stuff right here and making this stuff get us in a better position to have more of that for ourselves as a nation and move toward freedom. It's all about freedom. And to have the food, air, and water at the same time. If there are no more questions, I'm done.
All right. Everybody good? Good. Everybody good? Good. All right. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome, my brother.
I'll see you later. Another hand for Tarhaka, please. Once again, the show is on Blog Talk. It's on Facebook. Friend him on Facebook. He's been banned from Facebook because all the friends and all the stuff call him out to Diallo. Now, we're going to bring up the next sister who is she's going to give us some more information in relation to what this whole thing is about. She is the Amma, the mother. Her name is Abundance Child.
What? You got the regular sword? That go with the projectors?
Hey, brother.
Hey. You got to jump. I got my my hard disk. I could put it on your computer. You got PowerPoint on there?
Oh, okay.
Can I just email it to you real quick? You got internet here, right?
I don't have mine. Here, put it on when you jump there.
Oh, that's, yeah, thank you.
Hey. You pause it. Okay, take the battery out.